Alright. What's up, everybody? We've got REYNOR in the bottom left side of the map going for an early extractor trick into what appears to be a 15 hatchery. MAXPAX in the top right side of the map, playing an early probe that he sent across the map. But guess what? That is hatchery before Overlord, ladies and gentlemen. So he's going 15 hatchery into extractor trick to get another drone out. So he's gone drone, extractor trick, another drone, and now he goes for the Overlord on 15 supply. And this allows REYNOR to have this mineral line heavily mining, close to saturation level, and it allows him to get his hatchery down. Lovely opening for REYNOR, and I think predicting that MAXPAX wanted to block him is really good, but also the fact that MAXPAX sent a probe across this early meant that he's losing a massive amount of mining time by sending this probe across. On the other hand, he is going to be very annoying, denying these middle mineral patches a fair bit, but REYNOR's counter micro is not bad, minimizes the damage for now. Interestingly, no pulling off minerals onto gas for MAXPAX. Looks like, I think this makes sense. Normally you'd pull off in a lot of situations, but if you're planning to play Twilight Council, you don't need to. Or if you've sent a probe this early, maybe even with a Stargate build, you could do this as a way of offsetting the cost of losing all this mining time by sending that probe across at the very early game. This is, of course, the Masters Coliseum, by the way. I know we're kind of diving into the cast because there's immediate build order decisions going on from the very first few seconds, but this is a best of 3 from the group stage at the Masters Coliseum. I've been away on break. Uploads have been a little bit more sparse, so apologies for that, but over the next few weeks, they will be upping, and we're going to be catching up with Masters Coliseum, which, as I record this, they're up to the playoff stage, which I think is going to be starting this coming weekend, the top 8. But I've only cast Group A, so we've still got to cast Group B, Group C, Group D, all the highlight matches, the exciting and important deciding matches in those. Obviously, a match like this, MAXPAX REYNOR, one I wanted to start with because it's MAXPAX, it's REYNOR. MAXPAX recently has ascended from, historically a terrible win rate versus REYNOR and Serral to kind of just looking unstoppable on the ladder, taking many games off Serral. It's been about 50-50 between MAXPAX and Serral in the ladder games that I've seen, which is a huge change. And he's looked so good against the Darks, the Shins. Shin gets the better of him sometimes, but it always feels like Shin's kind of using up a new all-in every time they play. And as MAXPAX gets better, at stopping those and more experience against them, it feels like Shin's running out of builds to beat him. We'll see what REYNOR can do. And that's a nice pylon block on the third. It's going to force REYNOR to take this northern base. It's actually a really cute disruption. I love the pressure from MAXPAX. Now, it is going to be a Stargate, but it's a rather late Stargate because of what I mentioned. Well, not rather late. It's a little later than the super fast Stargate we're used to. He's also gone for Stalker, which delays the Oracle. You can see he doesn't have 150 gas ready. Delays the Oracle by about 3 or 4 more seconds. Is it the end of the world? No, not at all. But it does delay it a few seconds. And there we go. Chronos that first Oracle starting at 3 minutes and 13 seconds. He'll move that down to spot the Overlord that's hiding on this little Tetris piece bit of high ground. Stalker's going to be there. Now notice, the Stalker can't see it. This is blocking vision directionally, so he's going to try and run away to the dead space with the Overlord, because he knows if you've gone Stalker first, you're going to hunt it. Beautiful adjustment there by REYNOR. Just hides the Overlord. At the same time, the Adept has to head home. And MAXPAX, he should have, I think in this scenario, you want to patrol the Stalker from here to down here, so it naturally should see the Overlord as it tries to escape. But REYNOR gets away, and that's going to be impossible for him to get the kill. Third Nexus does go down, 3 minutes 50. 38 workers for Protoss, 39 for Zerg. Now the question is, do we see double gas? Yeah. Okay, so that double gas goes down for MAXPAX. It looks like we'll probably be seeing 6-gate Blink Storm, I would imagine, but there's a few different variations he could throw in. This is a good way to use the Oracle. You have, energy is cheaper now that you've got energy recharge. REYNOR cancels and rebuilds at the last second. But he ends up losing the second Spore Crawler and the drone inside, and that Spore as well. Big mistakes for REYNOR there, guys. He just lost a lot of minerals. He lost the 75 minerals from each Spore Crawler. That's 150 minerals, plus the 2 drones that were inside, which is another 100 minerals. That is a big cost. That is a very big cost. Now, this guy's going to come in. He goes for the creep, but he sees the drones and says, well, that's an even juicier pickup. MAXPAX with some amazing pressure here in map 1 on ley lines. Pig upping confirmed. In Sydney, they never learn the word increasing. Increasing is a cuck word. It's for cucks and tryhards, guys. I'm neither of those. I'm what we call a Chad gamer who uses English much like a drunk man uses any object he can find to lean on, to balance his otherwise very unsteady footing. That's me. I'll use all the words in all the wrong ways. Stalker in the wall off. No shield battery at home. These lings could actually cause a real menace The Adept Oracle pressure is nice, but with nothing defending that third base, oh geez. That's a big problem. A warp in the choke point might be nice. He's already losing a bunch of probes though. Snap recall on the units, but they go to the natural, not the third. Actually, they even went to the main. Nowhere nearby. 6 probes going down and an Adept, and the Lings just run away. That is a brilliant trade, getting REYNOR right back into this game after the rough start. He's also played a greedy build. Lair, early melee upgrade, and a fast 4th hatchery. So REYNOR wants to play straight to Hydraling. He successfully skipped Baneley Nest and Roachwarren. Now that's really risky. You can't do that against a guy like Hero, who's a bit more, you know, crazy with his builds. But how often does MAXPAX hit you with a Glaive Adept follow-up? How often does MAXPAX hit you with a Charge Archon timing? Pretty rare. And as a result, you don't really need the safety Roachwarren. You can just skip up the tech tree to the higher tier, better quality units, the Hydras. And skipping the Baneley Nest as well in the early game is really nice. Now, REYNOR does need that Hydra Den. Whoa! Infestation. Infestation pit, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to play his famous mass Zergling into potentially Ultra style, or maybe just like Vipers and Adrenal Glands. This is wild. No Roachwarren, no Bane Nest, +2 melee. And how many gases has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4 gas. I think we're going to see an early 5th base and 90 drones very early on. He's also got a drop. He's going to sneak in the back of the natural. I like that. Meanwhile, Stalker, Adept Oracle in the front. MAXPAX, 62 workers against REYNOR's 66. Economy's very close. And another run by attempt, but the Lings get blocked by the Stalkers on the third base. Oracle's poking forward, but you can see MAXPAX. You know, he doesn't want to poke in too deep. This does scare REYNOR off droning anymore. But REYNOR happy to take the stasis trap to the face. He's going to go for a big Ling surround. Blink is ready. Those Stalkers pull back to this choke point. Really nice blink back to a choke, but he's got to stay behind the minerals, I think, or he's got to recall. And oh, I think he should have stayed in that corner over there. He's going to try and blink down another ledges, MAXPAX. The Oracles are killing a lot of Zerglings, don't get me wrong, but they're about to run out of energy. These Stalkers not long for this world. They'll blink one more time, but they will try to blink in the other direction, saying, well, let's at least let these Oracles kill something. The Oracles are now out of juice. One of the Oracles on 20 kills, the other on 13. Units lost tab in favor of REYNOR right now, which it needs to be because he's down on workers. But he's got a Lurker Den, 2nd Evo Chamber, Hive, and a 5th base. He's going to go Ling Lurker. Oh, okay, it's Ling Lurker. This is specialized for taking down a Stalker Storm style, but we do see Robo Bay. 1 or 2 Colossus to deal with the Zerglings would be amazing. Disruptors, I would say, would have been fantastic against Lurkers in the old meta. They're acceptable versus Lurkers these days, and generally a unit most Protoss players want to steer away from. It's rare you see a macro Robo Bay play like this. I think the problem for MAXPAX is he's staying on Stalkers way too long right now. And the problem is, you know you're playing mass Zergling. Why are you still massing a unit that's countered by Zerglings? Now, don't get me wrong, like, well, they counter Mutaswap, they counter Roaches, they counter Ravagers, they do okay versus Hydras. Yeah, he's not going to build any of those. All of his Hydras are going to turn into Lurkers, which also hard counter Stalkers. Stalkers and Colossus are both hard countered. Well, maybe not hard countered, but they're countered by Lurkers. It's going to be, like, right now, yes, you're being annoying with the Stalkers, but they're going to fall off a cliff in terms of value. I mean, if MAXPAX were going Storm right now, going for Archons, going for Immortals, I think I'd be down with it. But stylistically, compositionally, this is a great position to be for REYNOR. And I do like these stasis traps, but he's low on energy on the Oracles. He's got to be a little careful in how he dishes that out. One of the Hydras falls, which is nice. None of the Hydras have morphed into Lurkers just yet. Lurker range is on the way. +1 range, +2 melee is finished. We've got Lings in the main and the natural. I think this was probably from the drop. Yeah, the Dropper Lord came in, but there was a cannon already in the natural, which meant the damage there was rather minimal. First 6 Lurkers are morphing. There's still only a Colossus building. MAXPAX tech progression is so slow. And this is one of the great joys of watching MAXPAX in PvT, is he doesn't tech very fast. He just stays in your face with basic units. And that's pretty good if you're a king of using basic units versus Terran. Even though they do arguably fall off a cliff against Terran. Against Ling Lurker, though, they fall off an even bigger cliff. They fall off the side of a bloody planet! Oh, Colossus in the open. That is huge. First Colossus comes out, walks to its death. MAXPAX is still trying to attack here. It just feels like he has no respect for REYNOR's tech that he's going for. REYNOR with a massive Ling surround. Lurkers come in as well. That volley could be deadly. The Lurkers don't really hit that bad, but the Lings should do big damage. They don't have Adrenal Glands just yet, but it's kicking in right now. Plus 40% attack speed, and those Zerglings are destroying. They'll overwhelm the Zealots as well. Zealots are okay versus Zerglings, but in this scenario, the upgrades are actually so good for the Zerglings. They're probably the better unit. Oracles are killing the Zerglings, but they're running out of energy. He's been using his energy so much. MAXPAX only has one Oracle with his laser beam still on his fourth base. Is getting ransacked. Man stayed on Stalkers for way too long. REYNOR countered his style, and MAXPAX did not adapt in that game. Played a bit too predictably. You could tell REYNOR was mentally prepared and had a build order and a strategy in mind, and MAXPAX didn't seem to fully comprehend what he was up against. Making 30 Stalkers plus against mass Zergling has to be a strategic misplay. Colossus, 1 or 2 is not bad, but he needed something to go with it. Colossus could counter the Zerglings, of course, but I guess you could argue if he has the Colossus out, 3 Colossus to kill the Zerglings, the Stalkers can like micro around the Lurkers, but easier said than done. REYNOR with a really nice build in map 1. All right. Going into game 2, REYNOR is going to be going for that 14 drone, which means that's going to be an extractor trick. 1 more drone. Beautiful play. So he's going to be doing, I think, 15 Overlord into hatchery, guys. I do think we'll see that Overlord now on 100 minerals. Unless he's worried about getting blocked again, which apparently he is because he's saving the money. He's going to go hatchery before Overlord. But guess what? MAXPAX showing that rare bit of flexibility that we're not used to seeing from him. He's not scouting. He's playing a greedy build. Now, interestingly, he doesn't go gas first. He goes gate into gas. I think gas first is a much better build when you don't scout. But I'll need to DM him and ask him about it. I have a feeling he just hasn't had a long chat with Harstem about this. I think Harstem would convince him that gas first is better pretty much instantaneously, but we'll see. The reason is, notice that your gas could already be mining with this guy rather than wasting this time. And then this guy wouldn't have to wait either. You end up just about 20 gas ahead. The cost is your gates 5 to 10 seconds late, but since you're not scouting anyway and you're going Nexus before core, always in this matchup, it does not affect the build order. Now, like I said, REYNOR did skip delay his Overlord to ensure he got the hatchery down, but because MAXPAX is doing a greedy build, that was unnecessary. I would say this favors MAXPAX slightly in the openings. On the other hand, as a Zerg, I think REYNOR's just happy to have his natural in an easy-to-defend location. I think he's like, look, as long as my natural's not, super exposed, I feel fine. And he's already rallying drones to the natural. No gas just yet. Guys, very late gas for REYNOR. Is he going to do a 3-minute single gas or something crazy like that? Let's see how long he tries to delay this. He's seen no probe scout, so it might be a reaction to that, saying, well, if he knows that MAXPAX is unlikely to double adept pressure on such a big map, because it's kind of weak, it takes a long time for adepts to get across, but he sees no probe scout, and he's like, well, I mean, I might as well just not build any link speed. Like, I don't need it. I can skip it entirely. Just take a third base off of a pure mineral economy a bit earlier and then go for gas a bit later on. I like that idea. Now, there is a first chrono coming in. You need to do that as MAXPAX because that's going to be your first scout. We can look at his vision. And, of course, REYNOR's Overlord is the only thing he's seen so far. Stargate goes down nice and early, about 2 minutes 15, which is a very quick Stargate compared to that first game. It looks like the third base already goes down at 2.5 minutes. Creep Schumer on the natural immediately. REYNOR realizes queens are going to be a big part of defending the first adept. And does he build any Zerglings? No, just a third queen and more drones. And 2 minute 40 single gas. Not as late as the 3 minutes I predicted, but a little bit late. I wouldn't say I predicted it. I guessed it, right? Okay, the adept comes forward. First scout coming out here as well. Am I allowed to link the Wikipedia of the Chobo Team League? 100% guys in the chat. Casting the Chobo Team League, the Amateur League Grand Finals. After this on my stream here today. It should be a lot of fun. If you're watching on YouTube later on, hello YouTube. Hope you guys are looking forward to the Masters Coliseum coverage over the next week or two. Should be very fun. It's good to have a big online tournament being played at the moment. Chinese scene kind of hard carrying us in terms of organizing tournaments. Them and Warty right now. Oh, that adept is blocked. Spore trick. Nice spore trick. Great handling. Great handling. Adept goes down, doesn't take any damage. Oracle with the spotting will take out the Overlord this time around. Nowhere to retreat to that time. And MAXPAX moves out for that third base. With the way REYNOR's playing so greedy, I would love to see MAXPAX play a Clem-style PvZ opening. If you guys didn't watch my casts of Clem vs. Serral in PvZ, keep in mind that is a very greedy build Clem was doing against Serral. And I think you can do that here against REYNOR because REYNOR is playing Omega Greed. Let's see if it pays off though. Oracle's going to get a Spore. He builds the Evo Chamber. It has a lot more hit points than a Spore Crawler. Especially when you build a Spore Crawler, guys. Remember, it dies really quickly because they only have 300 hit points rather than 400 now, which is a big difference. So when they're building, as they kind of build up their percentage of hit points at a time, it's not as fast as it used to be. Drone does go down there as well. This Spore finishing just in the nick of time. And that Oracle gets one drone and has to leave. A decent little bit of damage to start. One Oracle heavily damaged. One of them only loses its shields. Link speed into +1 melee. He does go for the safety Roach Horn though. Makes sense for Reynor. After game one, being that greedy, you gotta take some safety precautions in the next one. Now, MAXPAX has done a great job with his no scout build of just chronoing probes, not missing any probe production. He's gone 4 gas into Twilight Forge, 3rd and 4th gateway, but he is gonna change it up and go charge this time. After the last game, where he's like, screw this, I'm not gonna let you play Mass Zergling 2 games in a row. He will very likely do some sort of Zealot Archon pressure in this game. For now, it's just a few Adepts and Oracles. One will stay at home with low energy, whereas it's just the high Oracle energy that he sends forward with these 4 Adepts to try and stop Reynor's drones from coming out, slow down the drone progression, see if he can delay that explosive Zerg economy, force him to build some army units to defend. Hatchery goes up there as well. All right, guys, we've got Adept shading forward, melee, halfway done, Link's pulling back, Lairs halfway done, 4th hatchery in the north. Adepts cancel the shade. Behind this, what is the next step? Robo, makes sense. I think it's going to be a Prism first. Let's see, MAXPAX. Are we going straight for a Prism and then a Templar Archives across this map? I wouldn't be surprised. He's going 8 gate. It's 8 gates and then a Prism. He's committing hard to this +1 timing. It's 8 gates into the Prism. That's how you do it. If you get your gateway started, then you get your Prism started. Warp in Zealots at home, move out with the Prism, warp in more Zealots on the front. I don't even know if he'll bother with the Templar Archives. He probably will. Yeah, he's going to build it now, so he can warp in Archons on the front. So Zealots will run across the map, and then Archons. Zergling sees the Zealot count. You see that it's Zealots. Reynor says, oh, you're not playing Blink, and he immediately drops a Spire, which is great. Reynor's thinking ahead. He knows Mutalisks will be good here. What he's not respecting, though, is the aggression in terms of the timing. He's thinking about the long game. He did not notice that these gases weren't taken. Even though he got a glimpse of vision, I guarantee you Reynor was not paying attention to that because he didn't micro his Zergling closer, and he's droning to almost 80 workers against a 60, what as far as his scouting info pertains, there's no gases. This could be a 55 or 60 probe timing. Now, we know it's a 65 probe timing, but it is big. He needs to just mass roaches. And where's his roach speed? He never made roach speed. He skipped roach speed to save gas. Oh, no. No roach speed. We've got sentries. He filled one up with energy as well. MAXPAX has 6 force fields, 2 Archons, and a pack of Zealots. 2 Adepts are going to shade in the natural at the same time. He's got these units charging forwards. He'd love to trap those Queens and Roaches up against the Zealots and Archons with some force fields. He's going to throw some stasis traps down as well. Zealot Archon posturing around. Link counterattack on the 3rd. Gets 5 probes. Great counterattack. And they are going to find a way to surround those Zealots. Good move for Reynor. Stasis trap, only getting 2 Roaches there. 4th hatchery getting focused down. Great force fields to buy time. MAXPAX realized Reynor is too good at hustling with his defense. So rather than forcing it, he says, the moment I see you pull back, I'm just going to focus your hatchery, use stasis and force fields to keep you back, take the 4th hatch, and then disengage. Great pullback here for MAXPAX as he starts immortal production. Now, losing those 5 probes, the fact that Reynor has 74, if Reynor just builds a 4th and 5th hatchery, I think he's totally fine here. But he's got to build a 5th base as well, I think. And he does, yeah. He's going to start a 5th base now. It's a little bit slower, but that's okay. He's got +2 melee. He's got 7 Mutalisks on the way. Remember that Spire? I don't think that's been scouted by MAXPAX. It hasn't. Yeah, I think, honestly, you get 8 Mutas in, do some damage, and then it's just about what the follow-up is. The scary thing is Reynor doesn't know what MAXPAX is committing to. If he knew it was a 4th Nexus Storm, I feel like he might want to go Hive. Because Ravagerling Bane is a short-term comp, and on a big map that's easy to defend like King's Cove, Ravagerling Bane is guaranteed to hit its expiry date. You will not be able to kill MAXPAX before he gets to a maxed out, Immortal Archon Storm Army, which means you kind of need to be adding to things like Lurkers. You need to be thinking about Nidus Worms and drops, and there we go. The Infestation Pit goes down. Reynor is thinking about that. Oh, his Zealots get spotted. Did MAXPAX see it? Let's go to MAXPAX's camera. He warps in Stalkers. Blink's already on the way. He should realize what's happening. Does he have a cannon in the natural? No cannon in the natural. I don't think he realizes. Uh-oh. But he did warp in Stalkers, but he's not... Okay, he loads up the Archons, trying to get over there to help defend. But wait, he can't make up his mind. MAXPAX, he's fumbling a little bit right now. He is fumbling. 8 probes have already gone down. Let's go back to everyone's view. Looks like the 4th Nexus will get cancelled. I think he has to give that up. Nexus goes down. Reynor Oh, the Mutas get caught by the Archon drop, though. Good multitasking there, but the Oracles on the front are going to start clearing up the Zerglings, and he's got Storm. Good Storms on this base could be game-changing. The Stasis Trap gets set off by a single Zergling. Nice Storms to hold him back. Stalkers push back the Mutas as well. MAXPAX survives on 3 base. If REYNOR holds down the drone key and goes Lurkers, I think he's in an amazing position. The only scary thing is that REYNOR's at 70 drones. For a normal Zerg, or maybe someone like Dark who's a bit more aggressive, 70 drones is a big economy. For REYNOR, this is measly. When REYNOR plays a macro game, he likes to have so much money. Like, REYNOR is honestly the greediest Zerg in the world when he wants to play the late game. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to 95 workers right now. He's actually building more Mutalisks. Oh, why is he building 6 more Mutalisks, guys? You've already shown Mutalisks. Okay, so REYNOR is making a 300 IQ backflip. He says, you know I've only got a handful of Mutas. You know it'd be silly for me to keep committing to them. So I'm going to commit to them a little bit more. And this is the thing is, you guys ever see someone do a 360 backflip and in one of those videos where they land on their own head? I think that's what REYNOR might be doing here. Nexus gets cancelled. It could work, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, you've already got, I think, cannons and batteries, right? Oh, we didn't build cannon battery, but he's got his army spread. He's got a cannon in the main. He's got a cannon in the third. He's got, like, Archons. He's got 2 Phoenix out. I don't think 12 Mutas is enough. I think if you're going to build more Mutas, you need to make, like, a full-on, I'm going all in on mass Muta and surprise him with 30 or 40, but 12 Mutas seems like a waste of money, and only 75 workers. REYNOR needs that 5th base gas up. He's taking them now. It's going to take a while to finish MAXPAX off in this game. MAXPAX doesn't have a lot of money, but his army quality is growing. For REYNOR, it's all about finding efficient fights, and he's on a mass Zergling army, which is going to trade terribly versus Archon and Storm. Mutas come in, find some good damage, but there is 3 Phoenix out. 3 Phoenix. I mean, I guess the Mutas can fight them, but not if the Stalkers are around. He's going to go for them. Not with a battery as well. Oh, REYNOR with a bit of a crazy fight here. Even clicks the assimilator there, panicking a little bit. He does get rid of 1. 2 Phoenix go down, but he's lost most of the Mutalisks. Just enough to have lethal damage still here. He's going to try and fight the other one. There's another battery nearby as well as energy recharge available. These Mutalisks killed 10 probes. Was it worth building another 6 Mutas for 10 probes, 2 Phoenix? Yeah, arguable. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. But he's going to go mass Lurker now, and that is going to be a style that's very hard for a broke MAXPAX to handle. Only now, at 11 minutes, does he make a Fleet Beacon. I think REYNOR has played very smart this game and this series, and you can tell he's quite well prepared. I don't really agree with those Mutalisks. I think that's the sort of play that was a bit overly fancy and could have got him in trouble. But it worked out okay. It's, you know, he's traded them off. At least he's got rid of most of the dead supply. I think he should probably get rid of these Mutalisks as well. I don't think you're going to see a Warp Prism anytime soon. Actually, you know what? Bringing the Mutas home was a good idea. MAXPAX has a Warp Prism on the map. My instincts were dumb. If you catch the Warp Prism with those Mutalisks, then it's super worth. Because Warp Prisms are going to be really annoying. When you're maxed out as a Zerg, you really want to be pushing the Protoss with your entire army. And the fact that a 2 supply unit can fly into your base and suddenly make 20 supply of Protoss in your base is one of the biggest things that Zergs lose to in this matchup, especially if it sneaks all the way around the edge, because there wasn't good Overlord coverage in this game. Now, there are spine crawlers there, but if he goes in the back bases, there's no spines in the back, and that's where the Prism can cause big problems. And look at this. He forces the entire army home. MAXPAX down 40 army supply, but he's buying himself time, and that's time to get Tempest up. This is a huge move. This Prism coming in is buying him the minute he needs to max out. MAXPAX has mined far less resources. He does lose the Prism, which is a bit of a mistake there, but as long as he can keep these Lurkers back, massive Storms, gets himself a Lurker, wounds the rest of them, and this it buys him space. And that's all he needs right now is space. Oh, this Lurker on the right side is actually so good. He just puts a few Lurkers. Oh, great positioning. REYNOR setting up a really nice concave, even though it's only a small section of his army. He's still got a lot of Roachling in his army. And remember, the Roachling is not going to be good long-term. Overseer count's getting very damaged. Got to be careful here, does REYNOR. He's going to have to inch these Lurkers forward into this base before the Tempest and the Mothership arrive. If he can get rid of this 4th base, he'll be in a pretty good spot. But look at that. Squad on the right side defends with Stalker Archon as well. Beautiful army split for MAXPAX. MAXPAX taking control of this game as he pumps up Mama. +1. Second Tempest on the way as well. I think he's building Tempest off just 1 Stargate. No, he has 3. He has 3 Stargates. I think he might have to give up this 4th base, though. Where are the Tempests? They're not here just yet. He's going to go north with a counterattack army. That might be the main play that he's looking for. You don't want to throw these Archons and Immortals away. It's more important to just run the probes to a different base, give it up, than it is to try and defend the Nexus and lose your army in the process. Attacking into these Lurkers with the Archons would be a huge mistake. Tempest, though, is going to put a timer on this. But he has to give up the base. He's losing a lot of probes right now. Bigling Roach army there. And they're not going to find too much, though. Reynor's army is kind of low quality, and this is one of the problems Reynor runs into at max supply sometimes. The 17 lurkers are really good, but the support units are essentially garbage. Roaches, lings, and hydras aren't really achieving anything at this stage of the game, and I think it's past time he got a few spellcasters. I do think Blinding Clouds would be amazing if against mass ground, but also Viper Corruptor to deal with the Tempest and the Mothership is essential. You've got the Spire, you've got the bank. He needs to be going probably double air upgrades and making Corruptors. If he doesn't start making Corruptors soon, the air units are just going to be a big problem, but he wants to swarm on the ground. He's making Hydras, he's making Frenzy. He's going to start attacking this side, trying to trade out, but as you can see, Storm Archon, too good against Zerglings. Lurkers in the middle. Oh, he's going to go for a crazy thrust. Big storms, though. Great storms for MAXPAX. Starting to shred these Lurkers. Lurkers will slowly break the cannon position, but he's bleeding out a lot of units to do it. And you can see MAXPAX here is focused on efficiency. That's his whole game plan. I don't think he's going to give this base up, though. I think he has to fight. I think MAXPAX doesn't want to give up this base. He comes in from the right side as well. Mama comes in. Oh, Time Warp does go down, but look at that Lurker. The Lurker spread is crazy right now. The Lurkers in the north run away. Down in the south side, he gives up the base. MAXPAX showing the patience of a god right now as he gives up yet another base. Hydras chase back the Tempest. MAXPAX has traded only 1,000 resources better than Reynor while being kept on 3 bases. And these 3 bases are almost completely out of minerals. They're so low. Main's completely mined out. Natural somehow still has 800 minerals on this patch. I guess because these guys are mining the long way around this. He's got 3 workers on it. I don't know. Don't know what's going on. Either way, 4th Nexus and 5th Nexus are both going to be rebuilt. Reynor has Bank, but how can he use that Bank? He's going to go in Festers. He's still got 3 Mutalisks. I'd like to see him throw those Mutalisks away to clear supply. I also love that he's dropped down to 67 workers. He needs a massive army supply, but killing a Protoss on this map is so difficult. And this is where Reynor's, running into those big problems. He needs Overseers to flank down the south, pop Niduses in the back of the main. Do that while hitting the front, preferably from 2 sides. And he also needs to think about, like I said, those Spire upgrades. Also, Carapace would be amazing. The longer this game goes, the more those low-quality upgrades, or low-priority upgrades, I should say, like Carapace, like Plasma Shields, are going to come into effect. +2 air and +3 ground are finished for Protoss. MAXPAX comes forward, intercepts the army in the middle. Remember, MAXPAX has Recall, MAXPAX has Warpins, even though he's maxed out right now. Fungal lands, but doesn't really achieve anything. You need Vipers, I think, to, probably just Corruptors as well. Oh, Phoenix sees the Overseer. Mama's here, along with a few Stalkers and an Archon. MAXPAX well aware of the danger. Oh, and he's even got Immortals. He's got a whole proper army up here. Gets rid of that Changeling. Phoenix gets rid of the Overseer. Shuts down Reynor's chances of doing that. Oh, Fungal catch! Hydra's pushing forward with Frenzy and the Fungal. Gets 3 or 4 Tempests. Great catch for Reynor. But he's still massing Hydras. He's still got 3 Mutalisks, which, yes, they're good for cleaning up prisms, but that's 6 supply. I feel like he's got to throw a few of those away. It's always a battle against your maxed out supply as a Zerg at this stage. It's what units do I get? 22 Lurkers can smash the ground with no Corruptors to deal with the air. That's a big issue. Now he's going for Ultra Tech, which I really agree with, as well as Carapace upgrades. No doubt we'll add melee +3 a bit later on. It's not a big priority. Now, 2 Mutas do die. He sends 1 home to make sure prisms can't get in there. Lurkers in the south. Oh god. Okay, if that Nidus goes down, that could be big. Single Immortal and Archon go in. The Archon does fall. Oh, look at that. The Lurkers need to run, man. Where didn't he get in the Nidus? He didn't get in the Nidus. Crazy play. Oh, he's going to go for a surround. Surrounding maneuver for Reynor. Reynor's going for a crazy surround. Now, I love it. I love this idea. He hasn't used Frenzy just yet. The army has to run through the Lurkers to escape. A massive play for Reynor. He sheds about half of the ground army, or shreds, I should say. It's MAXPAX who ends up shedding the skin of his ground army. Loses a lot of Immortals and Archons. Units lost time still 4,000 in favor of MAXPAX, though. Hydra's shoved forward, but there is Psystorm there. Gets himself a Tempest, loses a few Hydras and Lurkers. Reynor still looking a little bit desperate. I'd love to see more Overlords and Overseers coming in on the corners. Try to keep popping these Nidus Worms up. It's so hard, though, on this map. Maybe Creep Spread as well. His Creep Spread has been lacking in this game. If he could have Creep about across most of the map, you can imagine it would be much easier to rotate his army and to launch these attacks. You can see the units are much faster on Creep Spread. Oh, I love this. He's using a Mutalisk to spot for that. But the Phoenix actually hard counters the Mutalisk, so it will wreck it. Muta goes down pretty fast, and that Nidus Worm does go down to a single Immortal. MAXPAX playing just the defensive game as he goes carriers, +3 air weapons. We've got Burrow and also Anabolic Synthesis. That's Ultralisk movement speed on the way. You don't want to build Ultras right now because you've seen a fair few Immortals on the map, but if you get rid of the ground army at some point a remax of Ultra Corruptor is usually a very good play. Problem, still no air upgrades for Reynor. Reynor's had money. He's got to go air upgrades. He just can't keep ignoring that Spire. Even if he just had single Spire upgrades going, he could have +2 air armor or 1-1 done by now. And that's a really big issue. Oh, here we go. Lurkers, Hydra's coming forward right now. Mothership, Immortal Stalker over there. Still a lot of Stalkers in this army. Carrier's getting jumped on. Hydra's take out one. No! You're kidding me. Okay, one Carrier survives on 1 hit points. The other one barely dies. The Hydra's, though, getting shreked by the surround. Oh, God. Oh, God. Run, run, run. Reynor just lost a massive army for a Carrier. And damaging another one and a single Tempest. He's down 9,000 resources and the unit's lost. His banker's mostly chewed through. MAXPAX had a huge delay on his income earlier, but at this stage, his income's not that far behind. The moment these guys go back to mining, he has a fresh base there, a fresh base there. And because he took so long to take them, these bases have so much minerals and gas left. And with a similar income right now, Reynor is starting to run out of resources. He's also not taken a new base, which I'm a little bit questionable of. Lurkers holding the position. He's going to go Ultras right now. There's still 6 Immortals. Those Ultras are going to have a tough time. I mean, if they can get on top and just clear everything, it could be good. Blinding Cloud usually is my favorite. I do think Fungal can be good, but I think against Immortals with Ultras, if you can land just 1 or 2 Blinding Clouds in the middle of the army with a flanking Viper as you engage, it can be amazing. Problem, you do need to come in from multiple sides with the Ultralisk. Did you guys know, did they fix the issue with the Ultralisk range slop in the last patch? Basically, because we found out there was an issue where I think if you stutter stepped away, Ultras wouldn't land their hits correctly, right? Am I remembering that correctly? You guys let me know in the Twitch chat. We'll try to update those watching on YouTube as well. Because I think they fixed that in one of the bug fixes in the last patch where it turned out... It was under Blinding Cloud, actually. Especially against... Under Blinding Cloud, Ultras weren't able to land their hits correctly. Oh, recall! No way! I thought he was just going to chip at him on the front, but MAXPAX dives into the natural. He's going for the tack. Oh, here we go. Immortal Archon Storm, Tempest Carrier coming into the natural. Says, come and attack up this choke point, idiot. Reynor, he can't attack up there. He knows he can't. He's a very high-level player. He's one of the best players in the world. And he's kind of like, well, I guess I just have to rebuild my tech elsewhere. Zealots came in on the front, got 10 of his drones at the same time. Ultras will clear this up. Man, but no, he's got +1 air upgrade, armor about to finish. Ultras are on the high ground. Observer sees it all. He just recalls out. Hides an Immortal and a High Templar that didn't fit in the recall in the corner. Great choice. Kill some tech. Get some value. Don't let Reynor set up a nice round. 12,000 resources ahead of the units lost. And we've known that Protoss was very good in the late game for a while, and especially in the recent patches against Zerg. It's getting there, you know, that's potentially been the issue, right? A lot of mid-game timings and surprising tech shifts is where Zerg tends to have their advantage historically in this matchup. And once you get to late game, not that much room to tech switch unless you can actually clear out some of your opponent's army and expose a weakness, which he hasn't been able to do. He's going to come in with a big surround. Fungal lands on some of those units. Time Warp is delicious. Storm all over the Hydras. The Immortals are shredding these Ultras. The Ultras aren't getting any damage done. Reynor's army just filtering in. There was 5 or 6 Immortals on the ground there, and a few of them were in the deep red by the end of that, but the Storms cleared the Hydras. The Immortals cleared the Ultras. And Reynor, despite having a big advantage at some point in that game, wasn't able to finish it. I was saying, like, be greedy earlier, but I gotta say, even from my point of view, you know, sitting here backseat coaching, casting, whatever you want to call it, saying, oh, he should do this, he should do that. I don't think it's as simple as don't build those 6 mutas and you win this game. Do I think the extra 6 mutas was dumb? Maybe not dumb, but overly fancy, I think is like what I said during the cast, and I think that's a good way to say it. I do think he should have droned up a little bit more here. And I do think he needed to be more active at throwing away his army. And what I mean by that is these roaches and lings aren't getting better with time. And I would have loved to see Reynor running in here with Roachling, running in here with Roachling, while trading with the Mutalisks at the same time. And he tried to do it, but his army was a bit too Zergling focused, and MAXPAX army splits were excellent. When you've got Archon Storm everywhere, what are you going to do with that against lings? Like, technically, roaches can fight against that, but he had Immortals on the front where the roaches were most likely to attack. Is there an argument here, potentially, for Reynor to not play Lurkers? No, I think that's a bad... I'm like, maybe he could just go straight Ultra Corruptor, or just like, you know... No, I think that's really dumb. Maybe it would have worked, but I don't think it's a great plan. I do think, yeah, maybe just not going to the Lurkers a little bit quicker, being a little bit more decisive with denying these bases. But I have to give it to MAXPAX, because it's not always about what can you do to finish your opponent. It's how good were they at dodging all of your knockout blows. Every time MAXPAX, a lesser Protoss, would have fought to defend the base and thrown his army away fighting into Mass Lurker here, MAXPAX pulled away, gave up the base. This base pulled away, gave it up. How many times did he give up bases, preserve his army, knowing that the real strength of Protoss is when you get all those units together? The more Storms, Immortals, Archons, Tempests, Carriers, and Motherships you throw together, the better your army gets. Whereas a lot of the Zerg units have a bit more of an expiry date, and that's what MAXPAX played to. He played to all the Protoss advantages, and he exposed the fact that a lot of Reynor's units over time could not get value once MAXPAX had that perfect comp up. Really well played by MAXPAX to tie up the series. All right, guys, going into game 3 here, and it looks like Reynor, expecting MAXPAX to not block him, is going for a classic 16 hatchery build order. Very cool. Reynor trying to be greedy, and it looks like he's going to get away with it, because MAXPAX is once again doing a no scout gate first build. Now, we did Twitch chat, who we totally trust Twitch chat. They said the range slot bug did get fixed. So basically it was under Blinding Cloud. If you kept stutter stepping, say, a Marauder or Immortals back, the Ultras would land nearly no hits. And apparently this was a bug that's basically been in the game with the way Blinding Cloud operates since forever, that no one ever noticed. Because when units are under Blinding Cloud and they're stutter stepping, it's hard to see what's landing attacks anyway. But it was one of these kind of moments where my brain lit up and went, no way. Because I always knew you needed to kind of surround with Ultralisks against an Immortal army if you wanted to Blinding Cloud and engage it, or they just slip away. But now it like makes even more sense just how bad the Ultras are at attacking from one angle, even with Blinding Cloud on their army, if you can't lock them in position with a surround. Because the moment they can move even a little bit, the range slot was too short. I know this sounds confused. What's range slot? Basically, if a melee unit, say this drone attacks this other drone, but the drone starts attacking it and the other drone runs away, it can complete the attack even if the unit's a little bit further away than what it could have initiated the attack from. It means melee units aren't always starting an attack and then having their attack animation cancelled and just never getting damage off if there's any movement at all in a fight. It basically just allows melee units to actually land hits relatively consistently, right? And that range was getting set to like 0, basically, under Blinding Cloud, as if it was like an actual ranged unit attack. So it was actually making melee units worse under Blinding Cloud, whereas the whole point of Blinding Cloud is it's not meant to affect melee units. So just an interesting bit of trivia. We didn't really see any Vipers anyway with the Ultras in that last game, but just want to fill you guys in on the details of the game. Now, MAXPAX here, rallying lots of probes to this natural. He chronoed first adept, second one will not chrono. Hard to get damage on this map anyway. There's a nice ramp here. Easy to defend creep tumors, easy to get on out there. Here we go. Adept's going to come on in there. Oh! Nice move, nice move. Alright, we got the first Oracle on the way right now, moving out for the front third base. Okay. I guess this choke point's really nice. You can break that cooling tower and block off this front side. 5 worker advantage for MAXPAX. If you can kill a few drones, this could snowball. For now, though, I like the split on the Adepts. Just using that shade for safety. Doesn't take any damage, right? 5 hit points only. And he gets a nice early third base. 3 minutes 30 this time before building his wall off. Second Oracle's already on the way. I wouldn't be surprised if he chrono boosted that as well. He's got the 50 energy for it. But for now, first Oracle's about to head on in. Finds that third base almost finished and is going to see if it can do more damage. Oh, gets himself a drone as it pops. MAXPAX Oracle harassment's been really nice in this series. He's so good at also managing them in different positions. He sends that one back, fills up the energy, and he's gone third and fourth gas before the Twilight and Forge. Very standard follow-up for MAXPAX. He just loves this progression. Gives him all the gas he needs, opens up his options. The question for me is, do we see Zealot Archon again? And I don't think so. I think this map's really good for Blink, with all the sort of choke points and terrain. And if you can get your opponent to go Roaches just because of the fear of Zealot Archon like that last game, and then also, you know, go for Blink yourself, I think you're basically just in a great position. So I'd love to see Blink But the moment of truth will be here in a second. Third and fourth gateway go down. And we'll find out momentarily which upgrade he commits to. Roach Warren Gut does go down for safety along with an Evo Chamber. And it's going to be +1 attack and blink, indeed. I like the flexibility here for MAXPAX. I like that he's going back and forth. He's showing different things, not letting REYNOR be too greedy. I mean, it's not like he went hard on the Zealot Archon, but sniping the 4th base at the start of that last game was decent. Arguably, he was still behind afterwards, though, because the Zealot Archon's such a big commitment. Oh, these Ling Run buys have been doing very well. REYNOR has figured this out. He did this in Game 1 as well, remember? He tried it in Game 2 at one point, but I think it was a bit later in that game because he was busy with the Zealot Archon. That's brilliant. 8 probes. REYNOR, he's figured out you always are using every single Adept and Oracle to pressure me. And there is this tiny window where your third is undefended. And he is consistently punishing MAXPAX for being predictable in that regard. Beautiful play for REYNOR. That is actually awesome. Second gas on the way. REYNOR, he's going to go for that quick 4th hatchery once again. He is going range upgrades, though. So he's planning to play Lurkers. So he kind of looks like the style he's played in the previous games, except with the safety Roach Warrant, but he's actually still going mass Zergling. Oracle and Stalkers should be able to defend this, but the Stalkers, 2 of them getting exposed. Kill the Stalkers, run away. Great play there for REYNOR. Stalkers cost as much as 7 Zerglings. Queen runs down. She gets killed for MAXPAX, though. That's a nice catch. How many Queens are left? Only 5. That's a problem. He is building a 6th one here. So he's got 2 injecting, and he's going to have 4 out front. And the Lings plus Queens can defend, but the Adepts in a nice little corner. And they do cancel their Shade, but they're going to have to recall, otherwise they will go down. Lings should be able to kill 1. And the Oracle's going to go into the main base. Nice revelation there. It's going to be Storm. So Stalker into Psy Storm, and then slowly probably transitioning into like a Mortal Storm from there. Bit more of a well-rounded and I would say conservative style for MAXPAX, but it does struggle against a very quick Hive. And with the Infestation Pit already finished... Wait, what? There's no Infestation Pit. What? Oh my god, REYNOR's doing a Roach Hydra all in. Guys, he's chucking a Shin. Shin has beaten MAXPAX a bunch of times with this recently. It's the last thing you'd expect REYNOR to commit to. Europeans think Roach Hydra is bad. They do not like this build. On the other hand, he's going 75 workers. So it's a very high economy Roach Hydra. He's going to flank. He's going to come from this side, and up here at the same time. He's going to hit from like 3 or 4 angles. As I say that, a Lurker Den goes down. He's playing Lairtech Lurkers. What? Lairtech Lurkers? REYNOR is playing like a 4.8k player on the North American ladder. Guys, Lairtech Lurkers is notoriously bad. But you know what? If he doesn't have enough detection, I guess it could work out. It's not the worst thing in the world. It just doesn't... It's all in. It doesn't have a lot of longevity. But he's going to go Overlord speed. Oh, that's how he's going to make this work. Because not only will he attack those 4 sides I was talking about, where you can see MAXPAX is getting pretty entrenched, but he's going to drop in the main as well, so he can get Lurkers across like 4 bases against a guy whose Robo's just starting. And even with good Oracle Micro, you can only Revelate in so many places at once. It's hard to manage. Dude, this is a crazy play for REYNOR. A Lairtech Roach Hydra Lurker roll in. He sends a few Hydras forward now. MAXPAX does see them. These Lings on the left. He's trying to hide the depths of his army, the size of that army. But he's got to get across this map without getting seen. He's going to run forward now. Oh! Wait, is he just using this for creep spread? He's got Queens on the front door. Okay. MAXPAX, he's got 7 High Templar, 9 Stalkers. He's trying to go Fleet Beacon right now, and he's still probing. He's still probing. He has no idea what's happening. He needs to be making nothing but units. Stalkers, Stalkers, Stalkers. But he's not making Stalkers. He's only got 9. He's making probes and a Fleet Beacon. MAXPAX has no idea what's happening, it seems. Oh, gosh, he's in trouble. He's making Observers. He's got to cancel probes and warp in Stalkers, mate. He's making Zealots, I guess, which will help out a little bit. But Lurkers now coming in and breaking these rocks. This entrance looking like a threat. Mid-game timings. REYNOR said it on Twitter when he was complaining about the patch. He said late game's going to be terrible for Zerg, and he clarified, he said, don't get me wrong, we'll still be able to win. We're just going to be having to do a lot of mid-game timings. That's going to be what this matchup revolves around on the new patch. He said that about a month and a half ago. Guess what? He's showing us now. All in on Lairtech Lurkers. Now, these Lurkers suck compared to the other ones. They've only got 8 range rather than 10. But they will get the job done. REYNOR, he's going to defend that right side with Roachling on the left. More Zealots running in there as well. The Lurkers are still moving forward. One of the Lurkers goes down on the left. Another one barely saved by Transfuse. Dude, Transfuse on the Lurkers is actually amazing. It's helping out a lot. 7 more drones do go down. It's a total of 9 drones have fallen in this match. Now, REYNOR has to reset on gas. He hasn't done that right now because he's so focused on the front. So these distractions are actually buying an immense amount of time. Mothership's building Tempests, Immortals, and he's building a 4th base in the bottom right. This is MAXPAX saying, you know what I got so much success off in the last game? Refusing to fight into your stupid Zerg all-ins, pulling back, buying time, and just letting my army get better and kind of, you know, become finer with time. Lurkers moving to the right side. Roaches set off the stasis trap. Zealots come in behind. Nice move to get rid of that spine crawler. Once again, REYNOR has to divert a large portion of his army to deal with these zealots. Zergling's going to be going in, setting off a few of these stasis traps. There's still one there that he hasn't spotted, and that is a problem. That means his army might walk into that and get frozen in place. Roach Hydra coming back to the front. I still feel there needs to be more urgency. We've got a Tempest out. Mothership's almost here as well. That's that stasis I was talking about. Does trap 3 queens. Storms could be big on this right side. Remember, the hive has started. REYNOR's got a transition on the way, but his economy's low. 68 workers. MAXPAX is on 80. He needs more damage. MAXPAX cannot lose his 3rd base. The Ling in the natural is going to start killing probes. Oracle Revelation comes down. Mothership comes forward with Cloak. No Overseer! No Overseer on the front line! Oh, huge mistake right now! Huge mistake for REYNOR! Oh, no! Mothership comes in. Remember, it's only temporary, though, and she can get killed by the Hydra Queen. Mama goes down. Does do a lot of damage, though, does Mr. MAXPAX. He's only got 1 Tempest out. He needs to keep building them. His High Templar are damaging the army, but the Queens are doing what they can to heal with Storm. Hydras are in the natural. Single Immortal will not be enough. He needs a big Zealot Warping in that natural. He's only got 6 gates. Remember, he lost 4 gateways on his 3rd base. He lost 4 gateways. A lot of his production went down. He has to recall units to the left side. That means his right side. He does have a decent little army there, but MAXPAX needs to reset. He needs to get his army split. Zealots on the right side still counterattacking at the same time. Bottom right side base is up, but no gases mining there, which could come into play later on. 2 Tempests in a Mothership building. MAXPAX just hanging on right now, holding on, trying to survive. I'd love to see REYNOR find that base in the bottom right. He has no idea it's there. If he could get in there, take that out, while taking gases back on his 5th base, taking a 6th, maybe he can play a macro game. If he goes Corruptors, that could be big, but there's no more upgrades on the way for REYNOR. He's relatively all in right now. New Cybercore's already being rebuilt in the back. MAXPAX knows this is going to die. Cannons in the bottom right will be able to take out a Lurker, but the Lurkers get behind the base, and that's the most important bit. REYNOR is going to find a lot of probes if MAXPAX doesn't react. He's so busy microing on the front. He's going to be losing those units. That High Templar runs forward, hits the Lurker, and then pulls back like a Chad. Probe does pull over on the right side. Tempest coming down from the high ground. A few Immortals and High Templar are here. A Storm would be massive. He's got a Storm, but he only lands on a couple of the Hydras. Has to morph an Archon. He's slowly getting his stuff pushed in. Lurkers on the right side, trying to make things difficult. Revelation's trying to go down. He needs to keep refilling energy on the Oracles. Otherwise, there's no way to spot these Lurkers other than the Observers, which are getting pushed back by the Queens of the Observers. The Robo's getting sieged. This Nexus getting sieged. Probes are out in the middle of nowhere. This Tempest is going walkabout right now. MAXPAX with a straight Tempest in the middle of the map. Queens and Hydras could catch that. The Queens take out the natural Nexus right now. MAXPAX 145 supply, but he's still got 3 bases available. 2 of them mining. REYNOR, 4 bases mining, but only up 13 workers, which is never a good spot to be for his Zerg, but the Lurker upgrades are finally coming in. Tempest taking out another Overseer. Bottom right side base should easily be defended if he just sends some units down. 700 hit points left on that bad boy. He's going to split the army, is MAXPAX. Once again, weathering the storm by using his own storms all over REYNOR's face to make it happen, man. This is crazy. What a game, dude. MAXPAX is such a beast. Stalkers come down. Probes retake that base. Does he retake his natural? He might want to. 6 Tempests plus 4 High Templar. Funnily enough, you know what's missing? He needs more High Templar and more Immortals. Problem, guys, he's only got 1 Robo. It's not producing. He's making carriers and air weapons. These are the last things he needs. I mean, it helps, but I really think more High Templar and more Storms against a mass Hydra Lurker Queen army. You just need to zone him out. And he's still 13 Queens on this map. Is so many. So REYNOR is super committed right now. Like, he's very all in. He's only just taken a 6th base now, even though he's been on 5 base for about 5 minutes. So it does feel like REYNOR's potentially running out of steam a little bit. MAXPAX is getting closer to maxed out supply. It's still a more fragile position for MAXPAX than in the previous game. He is supply blocked right now, you know, needs to build more pylons and the like. But 9 Overlord drops are being morphed somewhere in the back. So he's going to go for a Doom drop in the main. Maybe half the army in the main, and then the other half swings in to attack the 3rd base or the natural at the same time. It's a pretty cool way of playing. So much creep on the front as well, giving REYNOR that big advantage he didn't have in the last game. It's going to make it a bit easier to finish things off. He's making even more Dropper Lords, realizing, crap, man, I can only fit actually a section of me Lurkers and Queens in here. He's going to go for the big old drop into that main. If he can get this one going and surprise MAXPAX, it could be a stunning maneuver. So he's going to move down that left. He's only got Ling Hydra in the middle, which is not the greatest army, but he can at least force these Stalkers back. How many carriers are out? 2 carriers right now. +1 air weapon's about to finish. 3 more High Templar are morphing. Not sure if those are meant to be Archons or High Templar. Looks like a mixture of both. And here comes that Doom Drop. MAXPAX not ready for it. Not ready for it at all. He had no idea this was coming, and he's going to lose a lot of his infrastructure in the main. The question is, does he give up the main base? I think the answer is he should. But he needs that patience right now. It's the deciding match of this series. It is a very important series in this group with players like Rogue in there as well. You want to win this series, not just to get out of the group, but also for that seeding spot as well. The winner of this match is the favorite to win the entire group. MAXPAX being patient. I love it. But on the right side, oh, that's the problem. If he loses this base, that's where the problem is. But he's got High Templar and Mothership. I think he can keep that base alive just fine. Meanwhile, very patient there, using Carriers and Tempest to clean it up. He's losing probes, he's losing infrastructure, but he's going to kill the army so efficiently that I actually think this is fine for MAXPAX. It's so weird to say, watching a Protoss losing their main. But we saw that REYNOR doesn't really have an answer to the late game in that last map. So yes, you've killed the infrastructure, but if he casually rebuilds things like the Templar Archives and the Twilight and all that, I don't think he's in a bad spot. He's got the Templar Archives still up, trying to rebuild Cybercores and Forges. Tempest trying to stop the Overlords that loaded up there, but he didn't get any of the full Overlords. Great move back for REYNOR. The fact that REYNOR saved those units when he did, brilliant play. He leaves the Nexus alive. Doesn't matter. The Nexus isn't worth anything. There's only 160 gas left. Saves the units, and he's going Corruptors this time. If he makes Vipers as well, I will get a bit of a Zerg tentacle turgidity. I will be getting extra mucus flow into my spine crawler. I will be getting very excited. Gateways are trying to rebuild. He's on one. Oh, he's only on one gateway. Oh, MAXPAX lost so much infrastructure. He's got to rebuild his Stargates from scratch, his gateways from scratch. He's alive. But now he's got to protect his air units like his life depends on it. If those Corruptors find his air units, he's screwed. He needs Storms. He needs Storms. Corruptors come in. They're going to be able to take out a Tempest very quickly. The Storms are late. MAXPAX was not watching his army. He's already losing a Tempest and 2 Tempests and a Carrier and another Carrier. The Storms are not landing on these Corruptors. What are we doing? MAXPAX with the rare fumble. The Ling drop in the main at the same time. A lovely distraction for REYNOR, keeping MAXPAX occupied. And he just killed a bunch of air units. You can see the Corruptors causing so many extra problems. Forces out the time up. He could just pull back for now. He could rotate maybe around to that bottom right side as well. Ling's in the main base doing some good damage. In the top right, a couple of Adepts come in. Who the hell still has Adepts alive at this stage of the game? One with 7 kills, one with 10. I don't know where the hell those Adepts came from, but any harassment is good harassment. 2 Void Rays starting as well as a Fleet Beacon right now for MAXPAX. MAXPAX struggling to deal with these 3 Lurkers. The Oracle comes in, does the Revelation. Is it enough though? The Immortal and the Zealot will go down. Not going to be able to clean it up. Not enough units. And remember, with only 2 gateways, losing the infrastructure was indeed the killing blow. REYNOR has him checkmated now. Even with this army, he's got no way to reproduce it. Mama uses Cloak, the Corruptors poking in and poking out. They might not find damage, but the army splitting into the main and the natural are finding that damage anyway, so it's working out just okay. Only +1 range upgrades. He does have Adrenal, no melee on these Zerglings, but seems like, hey, there's no armor for Protoss. Should be good enough to find some damage here. All right, Zerglings on the right side of there. Corruptors are going to be looking for a dive with Archons there. Could be good. Oh! Ho, ho, ho. Do not want to be moving into Storm and Archon. He finds himself a Tempest kill, but you can only make so many of those moves, or those Corruptors will get melted. I really like the way REYNOR has played this series, guys. It felt like he came in here with a lot of fancy plays, a lot of tricky plays, and he's really punished MAXPAX. Things like that Ling run by on the 3rd base. I don't think I can overstate how much that set him up for success. Game 1, he won off the back of that, right? That early 8 probe kill on the 3rd is massive. The fact that he got it here in Game 3, and it's been him in the driver's seat from start to finish, you can't look past those 8 worker kills early. It's not everything, right? There's a lot of other things that went down, but those 8 worker kills are a big part of giving you the momentum and the freedom to do this big Queen, Latek, Lurker, Roach, Hydra portion. It's such a big commitment, it's kind of crazy, but REYNOR's making it look pretty good. REYNOR hasn't taken a lot of bases, by the way. He's finally taken a 6th base in the top left, but hasn't taken a 7th. He's just taking his time. Abduct comes in, grabs himself a Tempest. Feedback went down, but I think it landed on an Overseer. Quick Revelation is good. Carrier's going to go down. There's no Tempest to siege these Lurkers anymore. Carrier taking damage. Tempest trying to fight, but with only, what has he got? 2 Tempests on the right side. It's not enough. It's not enough. He's got 4 Tempest total. I think there's 2 more maybe rallying out. He's supply blocked right now as well. It looks like there are 4 Tempests in there. I thought it was only 2. Apparently I'm blind. What can I say, guys? I'm getting old. Archon battery. Oh, the High Templar storms itself and gets saved by the battery. Chad Templar, more like it. Viper coming in for another abduct. Oh, but the feedback does land. I mean, MAXPAX with some good defense right now. But he's basically playing the Whispers of Doom mission. There is unlimited hybrid Reynor Zerg coming in. He's got his hybrid destructors. His lurkers are shoving spines up your backside, and you're in just so much trouble. MAXPAX played a really good series. I love the way he gave up bases and gave up ground, but yeah, the drop in the main, just opening a new front against a Protoss who's so close to stabilizing and getting to that perfect maxed out army. Opening a new front by dropping in the main, huge move. And with all the creep control he had, all the vision advantage, it worked so well. 2 Tempests are going to go down here. The Corruptor's just dancing in and out. And you can see that creates so many more problems for MAXPAX now that the Corruptors are a threat. Corruptor Viper, a very important part of the late game, even when you are playing with the Lurkers. He frenzies forward and clicks on the High Templar. Reynor's having fun right now. MAXPAX trying to build mass pylons right now as he just stares at this situation. He's down to 1 base in a corner. And at a certain point, I think Reynor's going to say, mate, how many pylons do you need to shake off here? At a certain point, standing at the Ultra Love urinal, shaking your pylon, it's not just shaking it, you know? They say shake it once, yep, sure. Shaking it twice, no. Or 3 times, you might just be playing with yourself. I think that's how the old lyrics went, and I think that's what MAXPAX is doing right now. Reynor is trying to shame him into leaving this game with this beautiful Lurker Hydra Corruptor just picking away at him. MAXPAX showing great micro, but he's done for. He's cornered. And it's just a matter of time of when he chooses to kind of throw in the towel. It's hard for Reynor to, like, force him out. I do think if he just comes in from all sides and jumps on this with a bit of a sandwich of Lurker Corruptor from 2 sides, MAXPAX is dead. But he's going to fall back. I'm surprised. Reynor's just not taking more bases. This is, like, really weird. Because, like, I get you're winning, but this is something I've noticed is Reynor tunnel visions a lot. That's something I'd like to see a little bit less tunnel vision when he's playing. Just a little bit more, you know, creep spread and macro behind it would be great. Even though his micro has been exceptional. So he's doing the most important things to win the game, you know? Nice feedback on the Viper. I'd like to see him come from 2 sides. He's trying to just force it. MAXPAX making it hard for him. Storms, Time Warp, zoning him out. Ooh, Viper gets focus fired. Corruptors dive. They pull back there after sniping a single Tempest. MAXPAX knows he's done for. He does throw in the towel, finally. And we've got to say, hats off to Reynor. That drop in the main, off the back of that Lurker push that already put MAXPAX in a rather compromised position, trying to defend the far bottom right and his natural third at the same time. The drop in the main was the last thing that he expected. Really well played by Reynor. Gets the 2-1 victory in a fantastic ZvP series.